me being here.
Right, excellent.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, if that is the case, I'm thinking that intuitively, I can go only so far.
Yes.
Correct?
No. I can't make that statement.
No, I'm making the statement.
No, but you can't make
I want
an
to know
absolute
why.
statement.
It's not an absolute
Well, if you
statement.
can only go...
It-
do you mean you
Sorry,
personally
yeah.
or our species?
No, what I am saying
Yeah,
is, look, if I know, I can only intuitively think about things before I start wanting to find out external to me.
Yes.
Is that
or
correct?
internal,
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. But then that has to be realized internally.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am asking that intuitively,
Yeah.
can I know everything there is to know without the need for research?
All right, so without the need for research,
Yeah.
first of all, you have to systemize to know.
Absolutely.
I believe that, right?
Yeah.
Now, given that we all have got about 80 years each, if we're lucky.
If we're lucky.
I'm built on
Yes.
the back of a whole legacy of great thinkers,
Okay.
East and West, right?
Yeah,
so
no
I've
problem.
taken from
Yeah.
the different theories,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm not an isolated.
I
no one's
understand.
isolated.
Yeah,
with
of
their
course.
knowledge,
No
okay?
one is, yeah.
So we can deduce that we're on a journey of knowledge. We're understanding knowledge. So it's an
Constant.
ongoing game.
Absolutely.
Now, the question is not whether me and you, whether we
Right.
can arrive at the ultimate knowledge. Is can our species eventually arrive at ultimate knowledge?
No problem.
So
yeah.
I can't make an absolute to say we can
Yeah,
or
of
we
course,
can't.
of course, of
I
course.
can't say we
Of
can't
course.
or we can, but I can
Yeah.
say that we seem to be fit with a set of systemic modes
Definitely,
that are fit for purpose
definitely, yeah.
in relation to finding ultimate knowledge.
Yeah.
So
No, I
there's no
totally.
absolute in that
Yeah,
statement.
absolutely,
It's just,
yeah.
it's a
Yeah,
systemic perspective.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
I totally agree with that.
yeah.
You know, my concern is, as you rightly pointed out, if we are lucky that we have got only 80 years of a life, okay, then it becomes all the more imperative
Yeah.
that we try and establish very quickly why we are here or why I am here. Why am I here communicating with you?
Yes.
Why am I traveling in a... The question is there.
Yeah.
But if I only have 80 years,
Yeah.
and you rightly pointed out that we have built what we know over hundreds of years.
Yes, thousands
yeah,
of years,
it's not one of us.
No,
yeah.
it's not one. There's no isolated
absolutely.
person,
There's no isolated. Yeah.
We're all attached to a legacy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, all of it, no, even though we have got thousands of years of knowledge, okay, we still,
relative knowledge.
of course, relative. Yeah, we still are in a position not knowing exactly why we are here, and after those 80 years disappear, what happens?
Because it's so complex.
Now-
Because
sure,
we're not
sorry.
long. We're not. I believe in evolution. We're not long off the tree, and we're barely into alphabets. When you think about the whole scheme of it, the length of evolution and the modification that's involved to arrive here where we are. The fact that we were fish and now we're fish with an alphabet, having relatively complex conversations that will appear relatively primitive in a million years' time, and that's fine. But it's this track that we're on that's what's important.
Yeah.
And I don't premise the I in terms of I, me.
Yeah.
I only premise the conscious I.
Yeah.
What is the conscious field passing through the conduit? What
Yeah.
journey is
Yeah.
it on? So we are too primitive to know right now in this day and age. So I don't ask questions for meaning.
Yeah.
I know I have meaning to my own life with my family and friends
of course,
and that kind of meaning, that relative meaning.
Yeah, there
But
is.
I do attach meaning to the track that we're on, the evolutionary track of knowledge. I give meaning to that because we keep trying to refine it and identify it. And I've isolated the modes that are trying to systemize it.
Right.
And like I said, that's the next stage to see where that will take us over millions of years.
Yeah, of course.
But we
of
have
course.
no absolute
But-
answers.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But you just raised an interesting point just now. If you don't mind me.
No, go ahead, Jay.
Yep. You just said that you believe in evolution.
Yes.
Yeah. Now you.
I believe it's the best theory on the table.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about that. But earlier on, when you were talking to the gentleman,
Yeah.
you raised the issue of spirituality.
Yes.
Now, in what category
Yeah.
would we objectively identify spirituality?
Okay. Well, we only objected. We conceptually there is a sense of transcendence. There is a sense of connectivity. I feel another mode of connectivity. I'm connected to you in all things. And we understand now how actually we are connected to the ecosystem. How we're feeding off it and it's feeding off us. So we understand. So with the mode of connectivity and all the other modes allow us to see that. Okay?
Right. Okay.
So there is a sense throughout our nature of something spiritual. Now, personally, I can't know, but I believe spirit consciousness is prior. I don't believe in epiphenomenalism. I believe consciousness is prior. Now, I can go into that for hours.
I understand. Of course.
There is a sense, but I can
try
also
to summarize.
but I also can go along with the fact that it might be an epiphenomenalistic illusion that the brain is just the mind is just an emergent novelty of the brain. I don't know yet. None of us do. We're too primitive to know. but there is a sense of something spiritual and transcendent in this. So I believe there's something, the spiritual eye, the observational eye sees through a systemic lens, and I believe it's passing through the body conduit, and I believe it got into one conduit and moved out of it into chimp, into man. I believe it passed one road to get to Rome. Nature only needs one road to pass through itself, one conduit to rise through. Now I believe we're on a spiritual journey, and here's why: because we cannot isolate and premise man. Man, something in us cannot premise what we're in. It can hold it as a loose conceptual notion, but you can't premise man.
How can I identify that?
I don't know. But we can identify with true reductionism. You do break down to quantum. For example, like if there's let me answer. If there's spiders walking all over me, and I pull off a spider, that's not me. It's its own little thing. So there's trillions of little creatures walking around our skin. So they're their own little thing. So let's keep reducing it down. Where do I actually begin and end? Like you can't isolate a wave in the ocean. We see them and write poetry about them and paint them, but there's no wave in it. It's just the water coming in on the land. Okay, it leaves the impression of the ocean. So we have an impression that we're here, but appearances are not what things are. We know all those variables. So we can't. Maybe we are here as units unto ourselves. Maybe we can adumbrate ourselves and draw a full line around quantum on the inside out to the outside. Excuse me. But right now we can't. So I'm only once again grounding the modes that know that. Until, like I wrote there, I'm not a body of limbs and organs. I'm a set of a priori modes floating in an ocean of dissipating variables. And until I know more, I am that. Now there's knowledge in that. I'm not jumping ahead of myself. I'm not jumping ahead, and I'm not claiming to know spirit.
Absolutely,
I'm not claiming to know it. But my money's on the systemic eye being the spiritual eye rising through the body conduit.
Right. No problem at all. Again, on the basis of our primitivity, as you have just mentioned, we are trying to ascertain whether what we are discussing right now has an element of what we would consider to be truth as defined.
Yes.
But in order to do that, my concern would be that we are left with an element of subjectivity that cannot be overridden.
Well, yes, it can. Well, it can be in terms of we enter the world of epiphenomenalism.
Absolutely,
so it can be overridden.
It can be. So but now here's an issue. That my contention really about life, and I'm generally talking, and when I read what you had put on, it clicked. The bell started ringing. You see, to me, if there is something which I cannot identify, I need to seek the necessary, whatever it is called, information. Or this intuition. Okay. But I must arrive at a conclusion which I can be reasonably comfortable with.
Only when I identify it. Sorry.
Exactly. Only when it is identified.
All I identify is I have the mode of identification.
Exactly. So, you are at what you rightly pointed out. You are at the primitive stage. Where we have to start the journey. Now, my concern is that, look, I can agree with everything, and logic seems to agree with the notion that there are certain things which we can intuitively understand or accept, or even, how can I put it, investigate. Okay? However, if I am also fully conversant with the reality that even after 80 years, I may not even have taken the first step. Now, if that be the case, then the whole notion of how we consider to be life would be an abject failure.
I don't understand. You've isolated yourself then. It's not to do with your age.
No.
It's a legacy. I don't measure me, I measure the legacy.
I agree. I have no problem with the legacy, but the issue is this, that when I die, I'm the only one who dies.
No, but so the knowledge. So if you add to the canon of knowledge, then you leave the knowledge behind. Like Kant is alive in me.
Agreed.
Kant, he died 250 years ago. He's alive in me.
Agreed.
So
but that is
the knowledge has been passed
on. Absolutely. That is why I asked earlier on, that okay, we need to understand, comprehend, and realize that life has a journey of some kind. We haven't established it
what
yet.
What we call teleology. The trajectory is on.
The trajectory is there. We might not even find out or come to a conclusion as to why we are here and be comfortable in that notion.
We might not,
We might not. Yet after that we drop dead. Now, to me, if we were able to, just going back to the point, if we were able to posit the notion that there is intuition and that intuition can somehow lead us to this idea of spirituality, in inverted commas, then it is sort of suggesting to me that what we may consider or call the life force is not something that is only with the body. yeah,
yes,
it is transcendental, as you said.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Well, if that be the case, then it is something again which we cannot intuitively understand.
Yes.
Well, if that be the case, then is there a possibility that there must be a range of knowledge, which we can access, but we haven't bothered accessing? Is that a possibility?
Well, that's one of the fields of knowledge we haven't accessed yet.
Yeah.
That's why the first thing we have to do is sit into the driving seat.
Yes,
okay?
of course.
And we're a scattered head. So first thing we have to do is find a system so we understand how the mind itself, stabilize the mind, to stabilize the line we're on.
Yes.
And then that journey will take us to the next level.
Yes.
Now the first, we arrived off the tree and we were fish with an alphabet.
Yeah.
And now we have relatively complex understanding of language. And we were understanding on the chessboard, we don't know where we are yet. We have ideas. Okay? That means we're on a journey.
Right.
Okay? So we're on a journey is all I can accept.
No,
and to get on that journey, we have to line up. Like there's a field of epistemology. How do we know when we're looking at real knowledge? So we have knowledge of boat building and knowledge of computers, but that's not existential knowledge. What is our knowledge? So once again, we're on a journey. We have traction with a certain tract of thought. There seems to be a spiritual eye in it. I believe only spirit is looking for spirit. I don't believe man is here looking for man, because man is not here to be looking for man. I believe spirit will find spirit. That's why science can't find spirit, because spirit finds spirit. Science is just a tool, an extension of the set of modes that we use to pick up this garden. So once again, like I said, all I know is isolate the set of modes, understand them as a systemic lens. If to debunk me, people would have to engage this set. You have to be able to categorize something and combine them and so on. So it's tautologically airtight, as far as I'm concerned. So I believe, that's what I mean. I believe this set, by refining this set, by educating young people around this set, it's like a kung fu of the mind. And we'll get new kung fu masters. We'll get new kung fu masters who will refine further and go into further depths of metaphysics. But there's our answer to that. So other than that, we're just two men having a conversation about our complexity.
Of course.
But like I said, all I know is we're fit for purpose. We seem to be fit for purpose in realizing, in chasing the bigger questions.
Oh, absolutely. Just a few minutes. I don't want to keep you too long. But when you think about it, okay, if I were to say, you know what, maybe we need to understand what you are saying, we need to perhaps define certain words.
Yes.
Yeah.